Livestream still connected. You know, these platforms, they update their stuff and then, oh, okay. Never mind, it's working. So I'm going to put this device overhead, and I'm also going to be overhead in my other, in my Facebook communities and on the YouTube. So if you prefer to watch, I have like an overhead DSLR. If you prefer to watch in landscape mode, then you can go over to one of those places and watch and get a different view. But if you like being here on TikTok, I feel like TikTok, there's the most engagement over here. So I do like being here. Just the picture is a little bit better over there. But I will be overhead here on TikTok, and I will be working tonight on a 6-day kid blanket. It's the original Vivid Stripes color striping pattern that I'm doing, and I'm doing it with some Noro yarn that was given to me by Knitting Fever and Euro Yarns. And here's what it's looking like so far. You'll be able to see it better overhead. This is my swatch that I made. Always make a swatch when you're making a 6-day kid blanket with yarn you've never used before, always. And then you measure it, and then you figure out how big you want to make your blanket. And that's how you can make a 6-day kid blanket in any size with any yarn you like. I'm going to have to scoot my chair in because I can already feel that I'm like reaching. So then y'all are going to see that I'm in shorts. Enjoy. You're going to get the full view of the lipedema legs. Enjoy it. It's not that serious. But anyways, I don't care that much. But yeah, I got to sit up close. You know, when I crochet, I try to do it in a way that doesn't harm my body, or that protects my body as much as I can. Sitting in a chair isn't really good for you. But definitely sitting in a chair and having to like really pitch forward and reach so that I can be under the camera, it's not good. Definitely not good for the old bod. So let's see. I heard somebody commenting somewhere. Let me bring up my comments. Hi, Colleen. Thanks for popping on. Okay. And let me just clear my space a little bit, get my keyboard out of the way, and rearrange. Hi, Cindy. It's not any different. It's just, it's the same as the original. So I'm changing, what I'm doing, even though they've given me 6 balls of this Tsubame, Noro Tsubame. You know, the colors in the stripe can be kind of inconsistent with this yarn, and it's intentionally so. They made it to, mimic nature, which is never, like regular. It's absolutely beautiful yarn. But what I'm doing to kind of break up some of the pooling that might happen is I'm alternating balls. So I'm changing, I'm striping it, even though it's the same colorway. I'm striping it, and I'm changing colors the same as the original 6-day blanket. And I've done all the math for you so that you can take the 6 balls of Tsubame and make, maximize the size of the blanket. So it's the same stitches, but it'll have specific instructions for this exact yarn. And I think they're going to make kits for this so that you all can get a kit for this yarn and make your own Tsubame blanket. And I'm going to call it the 6-day beach house blanket, because this blanket is going to live in my beach house. And take trips to the beach with me. The wool is made of silk and wool and polyamide. polyamides, I believe. Anyways, what's going on here? Am I paused? I'm frozen. Oh, my other. So let's see. And the pattern will also be free on my website. So if you don't want to purchase another 6-day pattern, if you already know the stitches, you don't have to. I have to mirror my video. Mirror it. Why isn't it mirroring? Or is it switching whenever I touch it? I can't tell if I'm mirrored or not. Okay, now it looks like I am. Let me just wait because there's a delay. Oh no, I put it back. Never mind. Okay. This is just busy work for me at this point because I have it all figured out and written up. And this is one of the things that takes the longest about being a crochet designer, is just working up the thing so you can photograph it. And then another thing that's difficult for me is like finding people who are willing to be photographed to model stuff, which isn't really that important with blankets, but it is with garments and things. Sure, no problem. Have a good night of work at the hospital. Let's see. Hi, Courtney. How are you doing, my friend? I just did 2 of my shawl patterns. I did the 6-day Superstar and the 6-day Star with Noro yarn for them, for kits. And I alternated the yarn, 2 balls of yarn every 2 rows as well, just to break up some of the pooling that happens with this yarn. That's actually intentional. I'm gonna come in a little closer over here. Nice. It's exciting. Courtney and I are going to do another collab. Courtney's doing I've got the 6-day retro rainbow baby blanket that I'm going to release in a couple weeks, and she's going to do a matching levy for that. And I have another baby blanket in the works, which is a new striping variation that has a little textured ridge in it. And I'm not going to talk about that one too much because I haven't released the name. We have decided on a name for it, but I haven't released that information yet. And I'm not going to probably do or say too much more about it until I figure out how I'm going to edge that one. I can't come up with an edge that I'm like satisfied with for that. But I think she's doing a matching levy for that too. I'm not sure. We always have a lot of ideas, big ideas and big intentions, and then sometimes life slows us down. So all we're promising right now is the retro rainbow baby blanket. Hi, Amanda. Amanda says, I'm stuck at home in bed feeling under the weather. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, my dear. I hope you're okay. How's everyone's week going so far? I had to take a drive today I didn't have to leave the Outer Banks. I just had to go down to Nag's Head, which is almost an hour away for me to have blood drawn, because I have a doctor's appointment next week, which is about 2 hours with my endocrinologist, and it's about 2 hours away. But I got the blood draw and did a couple other little errands and made it back home by about, oh goodness, what time was it? 1 or 2 o'clock, I think it was. And I just did some work on the computer, and I had a call a little while ago. And then finally, once the call was done, I was able to walk down to the beach and sit on the beach for about an hour. Just hang out there. It was really nice and warm, but a little bit breezy. I was going to start my live down there, but my phone was on like 10% or something. So I didn't do it. I'm trying to get my other account, OBX Crochet, Outer Banks Crochet, up to 1,000, so I can go live from the beach from there. That's what I plan to do with that account, is just sit on the beach and crochet. I know people do love that content. They love those live streams when I'm just sitting there on the beach. So make sure you follow my other account, OBX Crochet. I think it's obx.crochet or Outer Banks Crochet. I think you could search for that and probably find it. Yeah. It's nice. I took crochet with me today, but I didn't crochet. Sometimes I just sit there. These colors for this yarn. I mean, when you look at this in the ball, you don't think it's really going to look like this and have all these greens and pinks. There's a lot of subtlety with this yarn that shows up when you work it up. It's just beautiful yarn, really is. It's a 4-weight, and I am working it up with a, what is this, an I hook? This feels like a J. See, I don't want to get in this situation again where I peel the sticker off one of these hooks and find out that it's not what it says it is. Yep, I believe it's an I 5.5 millimeter hook. I am kind of surprised I haven't heard a lot of people talking about the XRX stitches. I guess it's more of a knitting thing. And I know I've been to a couple of these conferences. They're called Stitches. They'll have like Stitches East, Stitches West, Stitches Midwest. And it's the XRX company that I believe is the publisher for Knitters Magazine. And they announced, I think it was yesterday or today, that they went bankrupt. And they're not going to be doing their festivals anymore. It's shocking. I know a lot of like indie yarn dyers and you know, set up as vendors at these events. They have the most incredible markets where you can go and buy yarn. I don't really know what happened. I don't know that much. I'm not that like clued into what is going on in the knitting world so much anymore. But one thing I have noticed, and I've been to a couple of festivals this year. I went to the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, and I went to the Carolina Fiber Festival. And I noticed that these, especially the Carolina Fiber Festival, very little crochet. It's mostly knitting. And the people that are walking around in the wearables, you know, like I'm in my 6-day hexagon cardigan, and I have this other gigantic scarf that I've made, the 6-day chaos scarf that I haven't released yet. It's just still in the in my membership community, and everybody at that festival was like wearing these really fine knit scarves and shawls, you know, knit with really fine yarn on little needles. And I gotta say, I felt a little out of place. And I didn't see much crochet there. I saw just maybe one or two other people who were wearing handmade crochet items. I saw somebody there with a granny square sweater on, and I thought, ooh, there's my people, you know. But very little crochet on display. Very little, if any, crochet items on display at the Carolina Fiber Fest. The Maryland Sheep and Wool had a little, but I have to say it was very small percentage of what was on display. Hi, Cleata. Thank you very much. It's I love it too. It's Noro. It's Noro yarn. I'm working it up. I'm alternating balls because the yarn is you know, it's very natural, and it's because of that, very inconsistent in terms of like, it's not like a Karen cake where it's basically the same size stripes every time. The colors are a little bit more random sometimes and don't always flow in the same order. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm alternating balls just to give the stripes some definition. So we'll see. I might not even like it, but we'll see. It's the original 6-day kid blanket pattern, and it's been upsized to, I forget how many points I did exactly, and I actually don't really want to say, because if it doesn't work, I'm going to have to rip the whole thing out and change the pattern. So I don't want to say, but the pattern will be free on my website as soon as it's ready. And I think that, you know, in the meanwhile, you can always take the original 6-day kid blanket pattern, which is meant to be adaptable, and, you know, design your own. You can tell I haven't really worked on this that much, right? I just started it. I've mainly been focused on the baby blankets and the shawls. Thank you. I'm loving it. And it's mine. This is mine. I could make 100 of these. I can make 100 of these. This is like my new favorite. I would make my entire library of patterns out of this yarn. I honestly would. Hey, Andrew, how are you? I wonder if people pop into my lives and it's like, remember that SpongeBob episode where he rips his pants and they're like, there goes SpongeBob ripping his pants again. It's like, there goes Benny McNitt making another 6-day kid blanket again. I'm a one-hit wonder. Yep. That's me. I'm doing great. Hey, Miss Beverly. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. Yes, I had a very quiet and peaceful Mother's Day. My kids live far away, so I was on my own here at the beach. But I did get to talk to my daughter for a while, and her name's Maya. I'm making plans for what I'm calling Maya Mess, better than Christmas. She's coming to have a vacation here for a whole week in June, and I just can't wait. Oh, it's okay. How was your Mother's Day, my dear? Hi, Debbie. If so, somebody's talking to me in the Facebook group. If you're commenting in the Facebook group, it just says Facebook user. It doesn't tell me your name, so I apologize for not knowing your name. But they're saying, love your patterns. Thank you for sharing them with us. Would love the pattern to the vest Lena made and showed in the chat. So I think she just freehanded that. So that's not a pattern that's coming up, but I think she did say how she did it. So, you can always take the 6-day kid blanket pattern and make a swatch with your yarn and use my resize video to that shows you how to measure it and figure out how to calculate how many chains you need. So just measure, the bottom and sides, how big you want your bottom and sides to be. Measure it across and just start crocheting a panel. And then divide for the armholes. That's how she did it. There's no pattern for it. She just freehanded it. So I don't really have any plans to make a vest anytime soon, although I do have a couple of sweaters that I'm working on. And I mean, if you like to work on things like the garments that I work on stuff in my membership community behind the scenes. So, but she just freehanded that vest herself with her own ideas. So if she can do it, you can do it too. Take some measurements and get started. That's an easy one. Hi, Debbie. Daughter and 2 granddaughters came out for a couple of hours. The older of the granddaughters, oh, that's so nice. I don't have any grandchildren. Hey, Andrew, all my patterns are on my site, bettymcknit.com. I also have if you're on TikTok, there's a little shopping bag tab where you can shop the patterns directly, but if you don't want to buy them, you can access them all for free on my website. BettyMcKnit.com. Oh, you have 10 grandchildren. How nice. Hey, Susan. Oh, that's an easy one. You can do it. I would, I mean, to be honest, if I were going to do something of that nature, I would do it sideways. I would start it from the side, but that's just me. But people have made sweaters using the 6-day kit blanket by just making panels. You know, if you don't want the chevron top and bottom, you can use the straight start. You can use the straight start to make a squared off panel of any size you like. You just have to make a swatch and do a little math. But, you know, make yourself a little diagram and figure out what size you want your panel, you need your panel to be. And then, you know, make your panels and sew them together. The only sweater I've done so far is the hexagon cardigan. I haven't done any sweaters with the chevron yet, but I have a couple in mind. I want to do a chaos style sweater, and the chaos scarf that I did is like, it's a combination of granny squares and chevron and the straight 6-day kid blanket stripe. It's that's why we call it chaos. It's all mixed up. So I have more stuff like that I'm doing right now. That's what has my interest at the moment. And I was going along good this year until these guys sent me all this Noro and said, make us patterns for kits and we'll sell kits. And so I've been trying to do this on top of my own ideas. But I think it's going to be great because you're all going to want to use this Noro yarn. It's amazing. You're going to love it. Amanda says the chaos scarf is a fun pattern. I loved making it. Yeah, I was prancing around in mine today because I ordered a shawl clip for it. I was looking for them at Maryland Sheep and Wool, but I didn't really find exactly what I wanted. But I wanted clips for the shawls, the 2 Noro shawls that I made, because they kind of need a little closure in the front. And I had made one for my mom, a Superstar shawl, and she wears it constantly, but she clips it together in the front with a potato chip clip, bag clip, a chip clip. I thought it was a hair clip, but I was texting her the other day and she said, no, it's a chip clip because a hair clip would have too many teeth. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Why don't we like put a closure on it so that people don't have to close it with a chip clip? So I was on Etsy and I bought a couple of clips, and I bought some clips at Maryland Sheep and Wool, but they weren't really what I wanted. So I wasted money on those, but maybe I'll post them on here, and if somebody wants them, they can have them. They're like the sew on kind. But I did get the I ordered some that are just have like little clips, so you just clip it. And so I thought, well, why don't I get one for my chaos scarf, because you know it's so big and it's like it's just a ridiculously big thing. And I thought, I bet I could wear it in some different ways if I had a clip. So I bought this Celtic clip for it, and I was trying it out today, and I feel like a freaking warrior in it. Hi, Karen. There are several. Karen says, um, uh, I love the 6-day pattern. I want to purchase the pattern that has the straight start. Which one do I purchase? So there's a baby blanket pattern with the straight start, and there is a full-size adult pattern with the straight start, and they're both called the viral 6-day viral baby blanket and 6-day viral blanket. And if you don't want to buy a pattern, you can always, there's an article on my website, and it says it is called How to Start Your 6-Day Kid Blanket with a Straight Edge or something like that. You can start it straight and build up the chevrons, or you can make the chevron blanket and you can square it off after. There are 2 ways to do it. Amanda says, I'm going to Crochet Guild Australia conference next month. Oh my gosh, that will just be fantastic. Get yourself a shawl clip to wear it with. I think you'll enjoy that. Hi, Angelique. How are you? Thanks for following. I'm doing great. Living my best life in my beach house. Sitting here crocheting my world famous pattern with my new favorite yarn. You're welcome. Yeah, go check out my website and look at the articles before you decide. I mean, they're right there. You only have to buy it if you don't want the ads. If you want to have like a PDF in your Ravelry or on your device that you can carry around. And then both of those patterns have they have 2 versions. They have the version that's just the pattern, and then they have another version with the chart that has the graph with all the stitches, the visual, representation of the stitches. And there are other things that are helpful too. The 6-day kid blanket cheat sheet is do y'all see what I did there? Because I'm carrying the yarn up the sides of this blanket because I'm alternating. This goes to the other ball, and this is where I've changed colors, and then I'm just gonna catch the other color in the color that I'm working, so it doesn't just wing all over the place. It's all I'm doing there. And then so I've done a lot of blankets with carrying up the sides lately. So whenever I do something like that, I make sure I go ahead and untwist the threads. And then when you turn, you want to make sure you turn in such a way that you don't tangle. Okay, let's get back to what were you talking about? The 6-day kid blanket versions. There's a cheat sheet. It's called the 6-day kid blanket cheat sheet, and it just has little helpful things to help you with your blanket. It has like a place for your swatch, and it has like a place where you can plan your colors on the back of it. It's got links to the videos that you'll need, helpful videos. It's a handy dandy little thing. 6-day kid blanket cheat sheet. I haven't seen the beach house blanket. Yes, but it's not. This is it. This is it. It's not released yet. same stitches, and it's the same stitches. It's just I'm going to tell you how to make exactly how to make it with this yarn, and how many you need to cast on, and how much yarn you need, and it's going to be a kit. Kind of hurts my feet when I have to sit this close. So I'm doing rows 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, hold on, 7, 2, 3, and 4 in one ball, and rows 5 and 6 with the other ball. And it's not really necessary to change balls, but I'm doing it because this yarn kind of, it has a tendency sometimes to pull up. So I'm just breaking it up. I know, aren't they great? I mean, seriously, look at that. Look at that. Look at it. This is the swatch. I mean, the swatch just doesn't really give the full effect. So the designer of this yarn, I believe, passed away recently, but I think that they were just a genius of color. Absolute genius. And every Noro colorway that I've ever seen has some color like this, bright blue, that's just like a flash of color, and you might be tempted to say like, oh, I'll just take that one color out. I've never fiddled with any of the colors of Noro that I've used. I've always just used them as is. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful, but there's always a color, an unexpected color in there, or a color you wouldn't think was gonna go. And I love how it feels too. It's definitely got wool in it. It's silk and wool, and it's nice. It's nice to work with. It's soft and fluffy and drapey. Look at that. I love it. It's making me happy. Cause you know you've been wanting to try it. Well, I'm gonna have kits very soon. Well, maybe I shouldn't say very soon, because I'm not in control of when the kits come out, other than, you know, once I get it all done and photographed and printed and all those things, then I can give it to them and they set up the kits, and then we can sell them. I'm using a Furls Odyssey eye hook, 5.5 millimeter hook. I'm making the 6-day beach house blanket, is what I'm gonna call it. I decided the other day. I was gonna call it Pelicans, because this yarn, the name of this yarn is Tsubame, which I believe in Japanese means swallow, which is a type of bird. And I thought, well, that's pretty, but I've got pelicans here where I live, and one day my sister was here, and we just saw the pelicans flying by, and they just kind of like glide by in a row. And when I saw them doing that, I was like, that is the Outer Banks to me. There was something about that. And so I thought, I'll call it pelicans. And then I thought, oh, I'll call it the Outer Banks blanket. Sometimes I run through some ideas until one sticks. Patch, it's not a stitch, it's the 6-day kid blanket, it's a pattern. No, it does not. It has the same stitches, and it has the same, it changes colors on the same rows as the original. It's just bigger, and it's specifically written for this yarn. 6 balls of this Noro Tsubame yarn. The pattern is the 6-day blanket. I know. Aren't they so pretty? So the original 6-day kid blanket was toddler size, made with chunky yarn. And I called it the 6-day blanket, kid blanket, because it only took me 6 days to make. And it wasn't a baby blanket because I was late making the blanket for the baby. The baby had already turned 1. So I called it the 6-day kid blanket. And when I published it, I didn't really think anybody would want to make it, first of all. And I wasn't really thinking, you know, like people are going to want to use different sizes of yarn or whatever. But I did put the stitch multiple 17 plus 3 in the pattern so that people could upsize, downsize, you know, what have you. And over time, people made all kinds of different blankets in different sizes and with different weights of yarn, baby blankets, adult blankets. And so it doesn't always take 6 days. And then I started making other things with it. I started making the blankets in different shapes. So that's how the star blanket came about. And so 6-day crochet now to me refers to the series of stitches in chevron that make up this particular pattern. So it's a row of single crochet, 2 rows of grannies, another row of single crochet, 2 rows of double crochet, and single crochet again in chevron. So when I say the stitch is the 6-day blanket, that's all the history of that. So that's what I mean by that. And it's not just one stitch. It's a series of stitches. It's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. Hey, what's up, Freeze Baby? Thank you, Andrew. Andrew said I love the nails, so I stopped crocheting so I could show you that their color change. I'm gonna put them on my cold. See that they turn purple. It's mood polish. I like the mood polish, and they laugh at me at the nail salon every time because I ask for cat eye color change. You're almost done with your hexagon cardigan. That's awesome. I still haven't finished the 2 that I was doing on the lives. I should finish those up. I've been working really hard on my stuff for my business, and not crocheting for pleasure very much. And this May is my birthday month. The next week is my 56th birthday. And so I promised myself this month that I would crochet for pleasure, at least a little bit. And I think something that would give me a lot of pleasure would be if I just finished one of these projects I started on one of these crochet alongs. Hey Jacqueline, what's up? Your birthday's next week too. What day? Mine's the 25th. The 23rd. Wow. So you're a Gemini also? Or maybe you were born after they changed it. I knew there was something about you. Yep, Gemini. We crazy. Hi, Amy. How you doing? Ugh. I just had a bug or something. Thank you, Karen. It is beautiful. Yeah, I'm on TikTok also. Yeah, my sister's going to come hang with me on my birthday. We're probably going to get weird and stupid. Yeah, I think that is one thing I could give myself for my birthday is like the mental health. It would be good for my mental health to just finish up. I have 2 hexagon cardigans that I did on lives, and I just never finished them because they were just to show people how to make the thing. They were just for the video, but there's no reason why I shouldn't finish them. My Amy says, just finished with my lecture. I'm gonna go. She's a lecturer for colleges. I'm gonna go downstairs and project you on the TV for Scott Repellent. That's her husband. Could you imagine? Be like, oh yeah, I just really want to watch your sister crochet. And talk to herself. Oh man. Colors are so fun to watch unravel. I'm not really sure I need to alternate the 2 skeins. I'm not sure it makes a difference, but I mean, this big bright blue is over here on this side, and this big bright blue is over here on this side. So that's one of the things that happens is when you turn the corner and you turn the work, you end up with the color pooling on one side, and then it just kind of tends to it's like you have a blue side and a brown side, or a light side and a dark side. And this kind of happened with yeah, that's my sister Amy. This kind of happened with the shawls too. So that's why we'll see. I think it's gonna take some more time to really see how the colors play out. I had to do a little bit of color control for the shawls, but not that much because I alternated skeins on that. It's a kind of a pain in the butt, but I think it will make a difference and it will balance the colors out a little bit more. And I didn't really control where they started other than to make sure I didn't start them on the same color. But honestly, there's not a whole lot you can do anyways, because even if you do change on every other row, like I did for the star shawl, some rows are single crochet, some rows are double crochet. You know, each row takes up a different amount of yarn, so you can't do like planned pooling or anything like that. But if you don't do something, you will end up with a pink side and a blue side, or a light side and a dark side. So this is how I just tried to balance it a little bit anyways. And if we're just talking about that bright blue, you know, it worked because this blue over here is from this skein, and this blue was from this skein. And I've used a lot more of this one than I have of this one. So it should be a pretty effective way of like just, you know, mixing up the colors so they don't pull up on themselves too much. I got the gift of gab. It was a lot of talking all at once. She's copping over here onto TikTok, Andrew, and she's gonna make her husband mad by putting me on the TV. Thanks for following. Appreciate it. So, Jacqueline, if you're still here, do you have any special plans for your birthday? You got me a present. You didn't have to do that. Oh man, it has a knot. So when I have a knot in my yarn, I just treat it like a new join. And this is how I do it. I just loop it. And then, I mean, you can cut it and just make it into 2 strands. And then I will take the, these are the 2 tails, and I flip them up over the working yarn before I take the next stitch. And then I leave it there until I'm all done, and it doesn't come loose or flop around or anything like that. It stays secure in the back of the work until I go back and weave it in. And I do not tie knots unless it's an emergency. The yarn is Noro Tsubame. Now I see that I spelled it wrong on TikTok. Durr. I don't know if I can fix it ever, or if it matters. I haven't been live in a while. Goodness. I've been busy too. It's echoing. What do you mean? Hi, thanks for sharing the live. Kat is saying there's no echo on their end. All right. I hope I didn't start this too big. I'll be crying. I was really careful measuring out, like how big, because I want to make the biggest possible blanket with the yarn that I have. Because you don't want to have this expensive, beautiful yarn and then, have a whole ball of it or half a ball of it left over when you have a project. You want to use every single bit of that. And with the star shawls, I did too. I just had little itty bitty balls of yarn left over from those projects. I mean, I maximized that yardage. I gotta photograph those. Hi Flo, it's the 6-day blanket. And I'm making it with Noro Tsubame. It's going to be a kit for Knitting Fever. But I gotta work it up first. I gotta work it up. The yarn's incredible. It's my new favorite. I don't think I ever want to work with any other yarn. Like, that's how I feel about it right now. I just feel in love. I'm in love with this yarn. Here we go with the singing. Get my boombox out and dust it off for next week. You know what I should do is I should take that thing and I should put the battery in it. I bought a new battery for it like a year ago. I'm just afraid that if I try to open that thing up and replace it myself, I'll break it. You'll help me? Okay. I mean, the only reason I would really need a battery is if I wanted to take it and use it outside. It was the whole reason I bought that thing, was to use it outside for dance performances and things. We're taking that baby out on the deck. I have a little JBL we can take out on the deck. But I'm excited. It should be fun. It should be fun. It should be nice to sit out and wait for the moon. If there's a moon, we can have our own dance performance. I feel like we did that last year too. There are a little bit of people here this week. It's not super crowded yet, but there are people. My next one, this is Karen over on YouTube, is saying, my next one, I want to use a couple different ice cream yarns that I only have a single skein. That's a good idea. I would suggest, alternating them. This is what I'm doing here with alternating and using alternating the balls and what am I trying to say? Switching colors for just row 5 and 6 is like my go-to. So I call that the lazy mix, because it's my lazy go-to. And that is how I like to use cake yarn. I like to which one am I bringing in? This is when I get confused. Oh yeah, okay, I got it. Hold on. Let me just think and not talk. That's how I like to use cake yarn, is I take 2 different colorways of cake yarn and I use one of them on rows 7, 2, 3, and 4, and I use the other one on rows 5 and 6. And if you do that with your blanket, you will need a ratio of 3 to 2 for your yarn. So you'll need 3 of one color and 2 of another. I'm just taking a second to untangle my 2 yarns, and I don't know why, but to me, I always put the one that I'm working with on the left, on the furthest left. I feel like I'm getting tongue-tied. It's probably getting to be about time for me to stop. So maybe I'll just do these 2 rows and then I'll go. I feel like I happen to be on the same color. So yeah, I do the 2 double crochet rows in a contrasting color, and that's how the original pattern was written. That's why it's called vivid chevrons. The single crochet rows are meant to frame the 2 granny rows so that you have a really strong stripe right there. You got your beachy look done on your nails today? You're all ready. Thank you. I was actually thinking about going up the road on Friday. Oh, coral with iridescent glitter. Oh my goodness. That sounds really nice. I was thinking about going up the road on Friday to get mine done, but somebody went over to my Acuity and made an appointment. I didn't know I had any appointments on Friday. I don't like doing stuff on Friday. That's my day. I could change it, but I've been waiting for her to make that appointment for a while, so. I'll tell you what, though. If they no-show, I'll be mad. I can find another time to go to Va Beach to get my nails did. Besides, I'm worried because she said, next time you come, we're going to take these off and give you a full set. And I hate getting my nails, getting my acrylics taken off. Most people that have worked on my nails, when I've lived in the same place and I have the same person over and over again, they know that my nails are really thin and they will not take the nails off unless they start falling off. Yeah, I know. It's not about that, though. It's about, that I'm not going to be able to go, I will have stayed home for the whole day and missed an opportunity to go get my nails done. Because it's it's an adventure. It's an all-day thing. It's a go up the road thing, I suppose I could leave after the appointment, at like 3 o'clock. I think I have to get there. I think they close at 5 or 6 on Friday. But they said as long as you get there before they close, they'll do whatever you want them to do. And my person that I like is really fast. Oh, there's another knot in here. Okay, so I have a knot over here. And then so I treat it like a new join. So I always pull the new yarn through the last 2 loops of the last stitch with the old color, And then I take the two tails, which I'm just leaving knotted together here, but when I weave it in, I'll cut them apart and weave them in separate directions. And I just wrap them up over the working yarn, and then I continue. And they stay, whoops. They stay perfectly. And the yarn is Noro Tsubame. It's in the description, but I spelled it wrong. It's called Tsubame. T-S-U-B-A-M-E, not T-A-U-B-A-M-E like I... We're going to be working this up as a kit, so y'all will be able to get kits with this yarn and my pattern. And it'll tell you exactly how many to chain and how many repeats to do. You use up all the yarn and have a beautiful blanket. It's going to be, this pattern version is going to be called the 6-Day Beach House Blanket. Cause I'm here living in my beach house. I have all my windows open right now. It's absolutely wonderful. I love my life. Hi, I'm doing fine. I can see your comments on Facebook, but I can't see who you are. Doesn't tell me your name. Hey, Lorraine. Where you been? Oh, nice. I hope you made a killing in this market. As long as you have enough room for your yarn, who needs a whole house? Am I right? But that's so much easier for you too. Must be a good feeling never moving again. I'd love to be able to say the same. I'm just renting this place. I would love to buy it, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But it would be so great just to relax. My house is furnished because it was a rental before I moved in. It's a beach rental. So if it were up to me, I would take out these 2 beds that are behind me and maybe put in a set of bunk beds and some shelves for my stuff. You know, I would settle in a little bit more. I feel like I'm just still on the surface here. Can I actually hear the ocean, or is that a fan? That's a fan. You might be able to hear people walking by going to the beach. I was on a call today and somebody walked by with their boombox blaring. And I had to say, oh, sorry, hold on. But yeah, I have my window open. You might be able to hear those ocean breezes. Whoops. People are starting to do the thing at night where they come down with the lights and they chase the crabs. But the crabs are back. I'm sure it's still nicer than the city sounds you probably had in New York. Oh my goodness. For real. I went back to Newburgh recently because I had put a lot of my things in storage. I got rid of all my furniture because this place is furnished when I moved. And I had a storage unit up there that I put a bunch of stuff in because I didn't know if I was going to stay here or if I was going to go back. I was just going to stay here for a year and then go back. And they renewed my lease, so I stayed. And then I've just been slowly clearing out that storage unit. So I was up there clearing out that unit, and I had something I wanted to drop off at a friend of mine, and she lives in that part of the city where I lived. And I went and dropped it off, and we were inside the house. It was just a short visit, and we were talking, and I could hear people yelling outside, and she's like not even flinching, you know. She's just like, you know, just having a conversation, and I'm like getting worried, you know. And then we go outside, and I'm getting in my car, and these people are yelling at each other, and I'm like, is everything okay over there? Like, she was like, did you forget that you used to live here and what it's like here? Like, this is normal, remember? And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, sometimes it's so quiet at my house I can hear the clock ticking, you know. It's just like really quiet. Lordy. Living on the beach sounds good to me. I still have a storage unit, and it'll be empty by June. Yeah, I did have to get one down here because I don't have enough room for everything here, because I mean, I could remove furniture, but then I'd have to put it in a storage unit. So, I've just been slowly going through my things. A lot of what I've got left is photographs and things like that, family photographs. And, I went through a really difficult divorce. And, some of that stuff is still gonna take some, some work and some emotional work to go through some of that stuff. I was with my ex-husband for a really long time. I mean, we were high school sweethearts. So some of that stuff that I have to go through, photographs and things that belonged to the kids when they were little, I've just slowly been going through and downsizing. But it's emotional. But it was really good feeling to clear that storage unit. It really was. It was, it felt really monumental to me. Like, wow, I can't believe I did all this by myself, That's how it felt. I opened that storage unit up there in Newburgh when I was still looking for a place to stay, to live. I didn't even have a place yet. I just knew I had to move. So there was a lot of meaning in clearing that out for me. But I've got all my stuff down here now, and it's all here. It's either in the house, in the shed under the house, or in the storage unit. And when I was driving back from Nag's Head today, I had to go down there to have a blood test done. Have a blood draw for a doctor's appointment next week. I was just thinking, I was in the car driving, and I was just thinking, like, wow, this feels like home. This really feels like home. And that has been a long time coming. Moving in general is emotional. I lived in this house for 65 years. Wow. And yes, I cleaned it by myself, plus spent money with the junk guys. They were shocked at all the yarn lost to flood. Oh, wow. Well, wow. I'm sorry you lost so much yarn. That must have been really hard. Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, goodness. Yeah, some things of mine ended up in a, like I had that rug from my office, and it was a nice rug. It was in really good shape, and I offered it to so many people, and no one wanted it, and I was going to give it to Restore, and they were never open when I was there. So I was, my friend that lives there is getting ready to move also, and that was another reason to, like, clear that storage, because, like, the people that I know and love that I moved there to be close to are, they're also leaving now. They're, they're moving. So, but anyway, she's getting her house ready to sell, so she had a dumpster, and I ended up throwing that carpet in the dumpster. But, yeah. And I did get rid of some yarn that I was hoarding in that storage unit too, because I just don't have space for it here. So I had to get rid of it. And, you know, it was stuff I just honestly didn't really think I was ever going to actually get around to using. Because it's different when you're just hoarding yarn to crochet stuff for yourself that you had ideas for, blankets you want to make and give to people or what have you. And you know, when I crochet something, even if it just is just like an idea of something I want to make or give to somebody, a lot of the time it ends up turning into a design. So I can't do that on discontinued yarn. You know, I've done that in the past, and it's like then I have this photograph of this item that's been discontinued. You know, the yarn's been discontinued, and everybody's like, you know, what yarn is that? What yarn is that? What yarn is that? Like, well, it's blah, 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 but you can't get it anymore. You know, like, that's just not. You mean collecting yarn? Yeah. Collecting, not hoarding. I had this yarn that I really liked at Michael's. They had this one colorway that I just really liked, and it was one of those seasonal yarns that they only carried one time, and then they didn't carry it anymore. And I was making a bunch of hats with it, and I had designed something with it, and I had this one colorway that I really liked, and so I bought a bunch of it up. I went around to all the different Michaels and I bought it up. You know how we get. So I had like a whole bunch of, I don't know, a whole bunch of that yarn. And I just didn't, you know, it was just one of those, someday I'll be old and I won't have anything else to do but crochet, and I won't have any money to buy yarn, da 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 da. So I'll just save this for then. And then I thought, I don't really want to be part of that. Like, I don't really want that narrative in my life anymore. I don't ever want to have nothing better to do. I don't ever want to, like, not have enough money, you know. So I just got rid of it. I didn't throw it away. I gave it to Goodwill. I forget. It was one of those loops and threads yarns, some colors. It was like a purple and a neonish green. I have this thing where I like those two colors together. I don't know why. They remind me of aliens. My son has this thing about aliens, and so, you know, if my kids like it, I like it. And I thought, oh, I'm going to make a whole blanket out of this one day. And the yarn did not have that much, it didn't have that much yardage on the balls. So I don't know. I was like, I got to collect all of them. And I would go around to all the different Michael's stores. When I was driving around places, I would stop at Michael's and see if they have it. I'd go find them all, buy them up. Love the yarn you're with for the moment. I'm telling you, I just don't ever think I ever want to use anything but this Noro again. It's kind of how I feel. Oh, what's not to love? It's just a beautiful yarn. It's a work of art. So I don't know when I'll finish this up or when the kits will be available, but hopefully I can get it together soon and we can get that, you know, up available for you all. I'm knitting the anthropology throw and the self-striping is terrific. Oh, that sounds nice. Someday when I am old, I guess, and tired or have nothing better to do, I don't see that ever describing me, but someday I'm going to make some of these other patterns that I didn't get to make because I was designing and making 6-day kid blanket everything. When I exhaust my ideas, my 6-day kid blanket ideas, someday I'll make everything that could possibly be made with the 6-day kid blanket stitches, and then I'll move on to something else and come up with a new design, and it'll be the 7-day blanket. This pattern never gets old. I'm going to stop after this row and the world will go crazy. Yep. And then I'll make everything that I made with the 6-day kid blanket stitches with the 7-day blanket stitches. And I'll make the hexagon cardigan, and I'll make all the different baby blankets and all the different stripes, and a bunch of different edges. Listen, I'm running out of ideas for edges. Can I just say, holy moly. I can't keep coming up with new stuff all the time. I'm going to have to recycle a couple of ideas. Bye, Lorraine. Congratulations on your move and your downsize, and it sounds like a positive step for you. You don't have to work so hard anymore. You can relax. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm going to make myself something for dinner. It's almost 10 o'clock. Haven't really eaten. Well, I did. I had mashed potatoes and chicken, at like 4 o'clock. Can you tell I'm avoiding the man blanket? You get that man blanket done. You're gonna wash that man blanket right out of your hair. You know what I told you about that. Here, get that man blanket done. Are you going to start another like interim project? Be like, I'll do 1 row of this and then 1 repeat on the man blanket. And then 1 row of this and then 1 repeat of the man blanket. By the way, Amy, I forgot to tell you this. I should have told you to have Courtney stand up and show you her hexagon cardigan when she was on the call the other day. Because I think that hers is a lot like what you want to make. And hers is really cute. She did a really good job with it. Woo! Okay, let me swap cameras. And TikTok, I'll leave you on overhead, but so this is, I'm gonna just do a little self-care for my hands before I log off. Ooh, what's happening here? Oh, this has some kind of weird lid on it. Stuff is really, really oily. So this is massage oil that I use on my hands and arms and actually other parts of my body, my legs mainly and feet, because I do have lipedema and it has a lymphatic component to it, and this is lymphatic massage oil and it's really good for swelling, and it smells amazing, and I put a little too much on. Okay, and then, so when I do lymphatic when you do lymphatic drainage massage, you start your lymphatic strain up here. So you have like drains up here where it drains into your circulatory system, and then you have nodes up here under your arms. So you have to, if you're doing your arms, you have to kind of start up at the top and get the armpit nodes and kind of get them activated, okay? Because if you're gonna push the fluid up, it has to be able to drain. So you start at the top, and then I just work my way down, and then I do my fingers, and you don't have to go too deep because your lymphatics are right under your skin. So you just want to stretch the skin a little bit as you do it. And then I go back up. And it's just really gentle pressure. You just see how my skin is stretching like that? You just stretch the skin a little bit. You don't have to like really dig in. Okay, and then do the other side. I think I've already done the armpits over there. and you go down, I go down, and then I do each finger. Just very gently. My hands kind of tend to swell up a little bit more now because I had my arms treated, so it's like whatever you haven't had treated is where the fluid goes. It's terrible. So now like the tops of my feet get really big because I've had my ankles done. And then this tool is something called a fascia blaster, and I'll use that on my hands too. Hi, Silent Storm One. I am just finishing up my crochet session and my hands are feeling a little puffy. So this is just like depuffing my arms. So it moves the fluid out of the fingers and hands and arms. And then this tool that I'm using is a tool that treats your fascia. It's actually, the purpose of this tool is for like cellulite. It's really for like appearances. It's marketed for that, to like look good and look better. But it's a really effective tool, massage tool for fascia, releasing fascial adhesions and keeping your lymphatics moving. And for me, because I have lipedema, I'm always going to have the lumpy, tissue under. I've had liposuction here to remove the lipedema fat, but like I'm always going to have those lumps. Like those are fascial adhesions right there. So this will help break that up. But if you have lipedema, this is not going to reduce it. But I have found that this is just really good for lymphatic circulation for me. It's really good for pain relief. Lipedema is really painful, and it's just it's part of my self-care routine for crochet. I keep it here on my table. I mean, if you don't have lipedema like I do, this might help. It might help, like with the bat wing. Some of it is like extra skin because my arms used to be much bigger, and I had liposuction. I had lipedema in my arms, and I had liposuction to have it removed. So, it would probably look better if I wore my compression sleeves. But I don't ever wear them. They are really painful to wear. So I used to be better about it, but now I'm terrible. This disease is just a lot. So you can't see it on TikTok, but you can see on Facebook, like where it's red, and that's, where this tool has brought blood up to the skin and, increased the circulation. And sometimes that's an indication that that's where some adhesions were and it's breaking them up. But you don't have to bruise yourself with this. Your lymphatics are right under your skin. So you just brush the top of your skin with this, and it feels really good. I can tell that my hands are not as puffy as they were when I finished. I feel like I could crochet some more now, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stop. I'm just feeling done for tonight. All right, thank you everybody for being here with me. It's been a really fun live. Thank you, TikTok. Hold on, let me bring TikTok down. I'm always like, my face is always so big at the end of the live. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Whoops. Yes, it's written. Sorry. Yes, it's written lipedema. Lipedema. It's a fat and connective tissue disorder. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, I'm signing off. Thank you so much and have a wonderful night. Mwah.